Hi, Solia. Good to see you.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Nice to be here.
I wanted to specifically talk about the Intifada factory. We had a discussion a few days back, and I wanted to talk in detail here. For the viewers, Solia Keen is a Kashmiri writer, poet, graphic artist, and a cultural critic. He's also the creator of the Facebook group Moderate Voices of Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh. I think it operated for at least a decade, right?
More than a decade.
More than a decade. And that's
Yeah.
how you and me met, actually, right? Ah.
Yeah.
So, Solet, tell me, what is your view of the Intifada factory? What is your definition of the Intifada factory? You coined the phrase, I remember it, a lot many years back, and we've been using it since then. It's become, very common jargon now. Define it, describe it. How did you understand it? How did you come to know it exists?
Well, to begin with, we already knew that there were Pakistan agents in the form of Jamaat-e-Islami in Kashmir. But to qualify something as a factory, it needs to have multiple divisions, you know, where different people, some people do the work, this thing, some people are in AC offices, some people are in the marketing department, some are in the PR, disaster management, things like that. So previously there used to be agents. There wasn't a factory, a full-blown industry where a host of people from different cross sections of the society come together and create fake ISI, narrative and all that. So what, according to me, those agents were already there. They were in, whether you can call even in the journalists and all, but it wasn't so much of a coordinated effort. I think it started a little later after militancy. Its back was broken around 2002. You know, so it's around that time when we thought that, oh, those elements have been defeated, and now it is back to square one and a long road to peace and prosperity, but with no hurdles, or people were already fed up. They were so glad that they can travel till late and things like that. So I think it started. The first line of it was Basharat Peer's curfew night.
I
You know,
remember that.
yeah. So from that, what I understood, I read the book. I identified with it with bits and pieces because though he might have been not too exposed to what was going on, living a sheltered life or something like that. But I could identify with whatever was there. There wasn't anything that was, not true in that. But it took us a lot of time that, how truth nevertheless, but how half truth can create secondary victims from the new generation of youth who had heard about militancy or things like that, but they hadn't encountered or seen a militant or terrorist come into their homes, stay, and all that. Those were the early 90s and this thing. And then Ikhwan came and that cleared out the towns at least. So militancy was relegated to the rural areas. The urban centers and all were cleared. They had
Yes.
written their, what you can say, that they would not dare to venture there because they would be captured by the Kashmiri counterinsurgents. Now the thing is that I read that, I could see that, I, coming from a literary background, I knew that there is a presentation skill. When a chapter ends with a rape or something like that. So
The
I know
hook.
that whatever is written, whatever disqualifies, disclaimers are written before that, that is just, besides the point. I know, like, and I know that he would employ all the literary ammunitions in the arsenal to to drill certain points. And I found it problematic in some way that he doesn't talk at length about the circumstances that led to the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits, because that would have a sobering down effect on the people. He didn't talk at,
Inconspicuously absent from the narrative.
yeah,
Inconspicuously absent.
that is the point. The absence has to be inconsequent, because that is the how the camel enters the tent, right?
Yes.
It's an incremental bits and pieces, and also leaving him aside that he didn't talk about that, he didn't talk about the 13,000 killed by terrorists, and he ends up by saying that in hindsight it was a bad idea because it didn't help the cause. You know, I
I know.
mean, it's like a mistake because it sort of they lost face. I mean, when they start with the uh,
It's
sorry,
okay. I'll pause the recording.
um,
It's okay.
office, they know
Yeah,
that I'm active at night.
that's
So
okay. Ah,
okay, so coming back to that thing, there were these kind of missing. So I thought that, oh, maybe he has deliberately kept it as a first person narration, so he can say that I didn't know or things like that. Because as a journalist, you are accountable for facts, but when you turn it into a memory, you say
hmm.
that, oh, I had a lapse of memory.
Okay. So what happened
Whatever.
next?
Next is that from the from what that happened is that there were these children, the youth and all, in schools and colleges and all. So these guys went and Muzammil Jalil and Basharat, they went and conducted all those workshops and all and indoctrinating them, gave them a list of books to read to basically inflame their this thing. And even though they had not been at the had
Hmm.
seen the full brunt of the in the insurgency and the
Give them a
counterinsurgency,
script basically.
yeah, yeah. So they started talking very, self-righteously about how bad it is and all, because that's what happens when you don't know the full side. When people realize that there have been killings from all sides, everybody has suffered. So there is no enemy class
Hmm.
then, right?
Hmm. True.
But this is how they create the enemy class, and then you have then there those Parvez Imrozes, Khurram Parvez, Ajay, all these people then together with journalists, lawyers, academicians, you know,
Yeah.
human rights activists,
Activists. Yes.
NGOs,
True.
arts and literature, those kind of people also, they started chipping in and all. So then it became very diverse. It was almost as good as dead or in suspended animation then, but they helped revive it. And why it gained so much of traction is
Mhm.
not necessarily in the people so much. Like, of course, social media also helped in spreading the propaganda, but the traction is basically because when you work in a factory, you're also paid for that,
Yes, that's true.
right?
That's true.
So it's not some people like, okay, Jazbati and all that, that they are very, provoked and all, and then they started spewing all that hatred and acid and all that. While
Hmm.
it is basically when it became lucrative,
Yeah.
that if you have a little bit good of potential or something, they would co-opt them, send them to a certain institution, get their education done, place them somewhere, and create a network of mutually backpatting factory workers who helped each other. And it was aided by the Indian state in the form of Dullat
Hmm.
and all.
The
And
of
that is the reason why
the
it
land of
gained traction. Otherwise, come to think of it, that if they could have done that, being terrorists in a country, why couldn't the
true.
state, being the most powerful agency in the country, why couldn't they? Because they had joined hands with them.
Right.
They sold this thing that pen is better than a gun.
Right.
So they didn't intend to transition gun to pen. They wanted to add pen to the gun.
Right.
Lynchionize it.
So these new terms which are coming up, like intellectual mercenaries, they do fit this, right? They get added to the term Intifada factory,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. If they haven't earned directly in terms of money or something, it is through placement and the network that the ecosystem
Hmm.
that accommodates them, they escalates their career, academic, gives them openings, avenues. Sometimes even write their books for them.
Yes, I
So
know, I know.
yeah,
You know,
so
I was offered too. You know, initially when I started, I didn't know anybody, and I was offered too. You know, at that time, I've told you, Atharzia was my teacher, and Kashmir Lit was coming up, and she had offered me. So you know, it took time to understand that this factory was being placed, the factory was being built.
but,
So I understand what you're saying.
but
I understand. Yeah.
but the best part is that they expose themselves by taking all the opportunities. Now people know that people
Hmm.
who are still suffering on the ground,
Right.
having more than 2 years of lockdown and all,
Hmm. Hmm.
and those people are enjoying in Turkey,
Right.
in
Right.
US, in Malaysia, in
Right.
Dubai, in Saudi, and everywhere,
So you're saying the
and
Intifada factory has been discredited? Are you saying that? People know
by their
now who
own
it is?
actions, by their own actions, because they took the benefits,
Hmm.
while from distant sources exhorted the poor children of poor families to pelt stones and glorified all the factory,
Right.
the death and all that will not forget you when they
Right.
become another statistical thing.
Uh, uh, my next question is connected to this. What you're saying, the poor family suffered, right?
They're
I
the
do
ones
say,
who
I do say there's a silent majority. You know, we keep telling about the silent majority. So I believe you created an account, Kashmir, Khamosh Kashmiri, and a blog as well. What made you feel the need to do this? At first it was anonymous, and then you came out openly that yes, I'm representing the silent majority. Why did you feel the need to do this?
see, I started MVJKL in 2010, right? But by 2018, the kind of threats to my family, I don't live there, so they can't do anything. The kind of threats to my family had become so frequent that it was almost like they're, hey, calling, Huri's bad names. It's not a big, this thing. It's like somebody Hindu feels bad about somebody making fun of Apsaras. I mean, they're not even gods and all. They are non-performing characters in this,
Mhm,
their myths and other things.
mhm,
Like, it went to that extreme that I had to go underground in the sense that I was online, I was
mhm.
watching everything, but I started the atheists of, not started, I took over. It was started by some other people. I took over that, and so I used to do that. But okay, as it is, I didn't want any credit or something like my name should be attached. It was the service that to fill in where nobody was talking about certain difficult to talk about, have certain difficult conversation. So
Right,
I went underground and atheists of Kashmir. I
right,
did.
right,
But that was only related to atheism and Islam and other things,
right.
and there was no politics. This thing. While I was keeping an eye on everything that was going on in mainland India and in Kashmir, so it was like I was already sort of like underground kind of a thing, but online and available, and in fact
Mhm.
probably more famous than normally this thing. Like
Well,
Atheists of
you
Kashmir
are
had created.
Kashmir's most famous atheist. You are.
Yeah, but that was anonymous. That was not in my name. But it was like
Yeah,
it
but
was
then
like
you
a
are
lord making
Kashmir's,
the post.
most famous atheist.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a long time, like oldies kind of a thing.
So
Never
these
been
difficult conversations that you're saying that nobody was willing to talk about it. Is that what prompted you to create the Khamosh Kashmiri account?
yeah, yeah. I was about to come to that.
Hmm.
So what happened was that I was like out from in the outside looking in and doing only the Atheists of Kashmir and all that. Now Facebook then eventually after it for 2 3 years before it was managed by other this thing, they had only some 500 or so followers.
Mm.
But once I came in within a year, we got some 10,000 this thing, and it had got a following. It was covered by people in the valley through blogs and all. Hey, what are these guys? Who are these
Mm.
guys? Are
Mm.
these agents? Who are they? And blah blah. So I was in that state outside the social media as in my own name. And then what happened was that that thing happened. Aarti went to attend that US
Congregational hearing.
congressional subcommittee, this thing on human
Yes.
rights in South Asia
Yes.
and all that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the
Absolutely.
way they try to suppress the truth, I became very emotional because she was talking about the Muslims killed by the terrorist post August 9th, 2019.
Yes.
And they were talking about what about internet. So it was like infuriating for me. And I was like, like
Absolutely.
Aarti needs somebody to this thing. Because those guys, Hindutva guys also were saying that, what's
I know.
the
A lot of
how
people went against her.
she should have gone through the proper channels and done some
Yeah.
setting. They treated her so
They even
badly. She
said that
looks
she had
bad on her.
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, I remember that. Even the Hindu groups were against her. I remember that.
So it is because of that anger at the way she was treated and how everybody was receiving or perceiving that thing.
Not
I
realizing,
shocked.
not realizing that she was against the Muslim Brotherhood. Ilhan Umar. She was against the Muslim Brotherhood,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Nobody realizing that.
opportunity makes for saying bad fellows.
Huh. Go on,
Ilhan
go
Umar
on.
was reading directly from the
Isn't
PR
it
printout.
scripted? Yeah, you could see people in the background who had been, prodding her and poking her. Fine, go on, go on. Then,
So what I did was that I created a blog post because I wasn't ready yet because I had been for 2 years underground, not in my. People had sort of said bye bye, he is gone, he's not being going to be around there. But I was around. I was doing the things anonymously, and so I created a blog immediately just to give a perspective of what happened, why that thing happened, that after they lost badly in UN Security Council and UN. And they tried to create a side show to show that we are still doing, we are still helping you. So it was Pakistan sort of redemption kind of a thing that we give you a show where you say that okay, we did something because they were totally destroyed in UN Security Council and all, and nobody gave them support except for
right,
usual suspects like Turkey, Iran, and you
yeah.
know, so China. So it is
Coming back,
because of that.
to
It
Khamosh
is
Kashmiri.
if you see the first blog post in that blog, Khamush Kashmiri, there I say that that Aarti's this appearance in the U.S. Congress, it sort of provoked me to break my silence. Actually, I wasn't silent,
I know.
but for in politics I was silent, not for like atheism and other activity. I was doing this. So then, once I created a Twitter account with the Khamosh Kashmiri name and all. And I used to talk about the don't think we are there are a lot of people, silent majority, and that kind of a thing. And they, I realized that people, I don't like the role of playing the victim who this was happened to because I'm somebody who plays on the front foot, kind of a thing. So over a period of time, I think that Twitter account only lasts for 2 months actually.
Yes.
But within a month or so, I got bored with playing the victim that because I was channelizing the helplessness of the majority. I may not be helpless, I may not be silent, but I sort of absorb the spirit of the silent majority and their hesitations and their this thing. So for a while, I sort of embodied that spirit. But then I got weary of that kind of a thing, and so I uh, decided that I will escalate things, and I became more creative in terms of how I say things through comic strips, through those gifs and photos
I,
and like
I,
funny things
I've
and all
seen a
that.
lot of them. Talking about
Yeah.
creativity, there is this article that you wrote on the Medium. Who says anti-national doesn't pay? Again, the same thing connected to the Intifada factory, right? It's a wonderful article. I believe even the graphic which is accompanying it is created by you, or is it from the net? This is on
Yeah.
Medium, and you have these ships coming from two sides, right?
Okay, you are talking about that
Medium
South
article?
Asian,
Yeah, no,
not
not the South
medium,
Asian.
South Asian.
No, no, no. The South Asian article is another one in which you have written about militarization of
We are
civil
talking about
society.
militarization of. We
No,
are
I'm
talking
not
about
talking about
South.
militarization of society, civil society. I'm talking about who says anti-national doesn't pay. You've talked about Didi Razdan. You've talked about. I have it here. I have it open here, and I think you need to be reminded
Wait,
of that.
probably
This is on your
I
Medium
don't
account.
remember it at all.
All right. But then you wrote the second article also. This is from the South Asia Citizens Web, and you wrote about the militarization of civil society, right? And there's another article on the same site on partition and the communalism of
Militarization of
common people.
militarization of militarization of civil society. It was about how by glorifying certain people connected with Indian independence,
Hmm.
whose methods were something that that was the value, that was the time of world wars and lot of violence. So they used to glorify raising up arms and ammunition against the state and all.
Hmm.
You know, like तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा and those kind of a thing. But
Hmm.
times have changed. So I thought that people who are making those period movies and other things, they have to realize that there are a lot of other people. It is not somebody in Chandni Chowk or somebody watching it. It is somebody in Northeast, somebody in Kashmir, somebody somewhere in the distance. And by glorifying that, we are actually helping them to glorify and justify terrorism. So that's
Hmm.
why I said that it is insidious through arts and other things. We have to be careful in what we glorify.
Right.
As long you make sure that you show that the end for that guy who espoused about death or something, he might not have, surrendered or something. He might be like aggressive right till the end. But we have to show that, was it that got us independence, or were there other people using other means and stuff like that. So it was about that militarization. And
Yeah, but then
what
civil
else you
society, because you
were
mentioned that even civil society is part of the Intifada factory, especially our civil society. You mentioned a few names. So I was wondering if the article meant that the civil society of Kashmir has been militarized or become
it is
mercenaries.
the mindset. It is the
Hmm.
mindset that is militarized. See, if somebody, for example, I recently saw a relative of mine posted this thing that, may God bless them. Some Pakistani terrorists had been gunned down, and there
Right.
was this thing, and may their Shahad be Kabul and blah blah. That is what
Hmm.
I talk about militarization of the mindset.
Right. Right.
Is that even though you don't take up your this thing, but you support those and you glorify those,
The
huh?
violence,
And you
glorifying the
make it seem
violence.
very righteous and virtuous path and mix in religion and other things. So that is the mindset. It's the same thing that, like, when we even talk about atheism and other things, where we say that, okay, on one side there is this extremist, but the
Hmm.
so-called moderate is saying that no, he did right. Those guys shouldn't have provoked them or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
That maybe there might be other psychodynamics like Stockholm syndrome or whatever it is, but when you justify violence
Hmm.
as righteous, then you can assume that we are living in the 1930s time loop where all those things were fine. They're not fine anymore. We don't live in that same world.
Your second article on the same site, South Asia Citizens Web, is about partition and the communalism of common people with special reference to Kashmir.
Yeah, it is
partition.
actually a review. It is not an actually article. It's a review, and it's not really well done. It's like
But the
uh,
headline is interesting. Communalism of common people. You think common people are not communal? That they are manipulated into being communal? Is that what you're saying?
it is actually a spin-off from the banality of evil
Hmm.
about
Hannah
common
Arendt.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was spin-off that. What it means is that when we talk about civil society in those the people, communalism, common people, is basically that usually in history we talk about the kisse kahaniyan of the kings and queens, what that guy decided or something. That might have been fine when we were ruled by monarchs and princes and all those kind of things, but because there was no sort of formal process of taking a referendum or people's opinion before implementing a policy or something.
True.
So
True.
we can fairly scarcely blame the leader of that time. But what has happened in the post-colonial history of India is that all the talk of partition and other things which was done on communal basis is shown to be seen as a kind of a court intrigue between Jinnah and Nehru, who were vying to be the PM. And like Jinnah is like, if I can't rule in heaven, you know, I would rather rule in hell than serve. I mean, those kind of shenanigans is shown as. Nobody talks about two things actually. In other places, I talk about the other missing factor, which is the role of British. How
Hmm.
these guys were actually doing their bidding, the
Hmm.
so-called leaders. They didn't have
Hmm.
that much of autonomy as people like to give.
Absolutely.
And the
Yes.
other, yeah, and the other missing, this was the leadership was also actually a decoy because the real leadership was the British.
This
These were
is
their
from this
agents.
is from Narinder Singh Sarila's book, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And the other thing missing was that they had support in people. It is the people factor why I'm talking about that Pakistan couldn't have been made if Bangladeshi Muslims didn't support it. There was in North India, they were talking about making New Medina.
Yeah.
So it is that the New Medina, the book that was written by Venkat
Venkat Dulipala.
Dulipala.
Yeah. I've read that.
So it's a review of that, and I say that it is interesting to see that how we still talk about if Nehru hadn't done this, if Jinnah hadn't done this, when right from top to bottom we miss out the British doing things, pulling strings behind the scenes, which the untold story of partition under the shadow of the Great Game.
Mm.
And this, the New Medina, the ground support
Venkat Dulipala.
in North India for Pakistan. So I wanted to say that sometimes what we do is that if somebody writes a history, he tries to exonerate it or absolve the people,
Yes.
you know,
That's what the
because
Intifada
because
factory
he
is
thinks
doing.
that
Yes.
yeah, it is basically because if we divest them from any sense of responsibility or something, we can blame the leaders, the class, and not the
Yes.
masses.
Really,
It
not
is
the
also a
masses.
leftist decoy, and
Yes.
that's how they use these masses to change regimes and stuff like that. But
Right.
it is not the people who are doing it; it is somebody else and
But it's
something.
interesting that you've taken
That's
it
why.
from Hannah Arendt's banality of evil, because I know for sure, I've been a witness to it, even you've been a witness to it, that the people did stand by. People couldn't do anything. I justify it also. We couldn't do anything. But then, as they say, the evil is done by the most powerless also. They just stood by. They couldn't do anything. AK-47 के सामने, I see a lot of Indian experts. I now see a lot of Hindu groups saying that the KPs did not pick up arms, and I get infuriated because they don't know life under an AK-47. They have not seen that life. But at the same time, I'm
No, I,
thinking,
I
had
appreciate
there
that
been
point.
yes, but then, at the same time, I'm thinking, yes, we could have created a tipping point. If a few people had gotten together, a few thousand people, a few hundred people at localities and everything, we could have maybe stopped it. But then it's not possible because, I lived in the most dangerous zone. And if a militant entered your house, you had to give him shelter, you had to give him food. We've had even our, cow shed being turned into a torture chamber, and हम लोग कुछ कह नहीं सकते थे because they had come in with AK-47s and everything. But again, saying that it takes the banality of evil, just following orders, just following the soda fizz, as Arshad used to say, right? This is just the soda fizz of the time, and people just went away with it. I mean, and then so many years later, they're justifying it. The Intifada factory is creating narratives. The Jagmohan theory is the pet narrative that they have, right?
Yeah, what you just said, actually, Khamosh Kashmiri blog, the further pieces in further articles in that,
Mm,
they talk about this only. That when we talk about people, it's not all people. It's some
right.
people,
Some people.
and some people who are being used. I
Mm,
mean, imagine they murder somebody's father, and then they get that son to become your agent. I mean, one would imagine from movies or something, if somebody's father is killed, and he is filled with that hatred and sense of revenge against those.
right.
But the amount of their influence was so great and the reach into their houses that they made them into their paploos after that, agents after
Right.
that. We have many leaders like Mir Wais is there, Sajad Lone is there, so many others in South Kashmir, Qazi Nisar's sons and all those people,
So you're
those
basically saying again,
Shibli.
coming back to the Intifada, description. You're saying political leaders, as well as journalists, media people, as well as bureaucrats, lawyers,
Even some
academicians,
personnel, even some personnel in police and armed
police
forces and
also,
all.
because we recently had this case of a female cop being arrested. Yes, absolutely true. I think
I
there's a
think
new term for
government
it,
is against
overground
that for a
worker.
long time.
What? I didn't get you. What did you say?
Yeah, I was warning about infiltration in the police force for a
Police
long
force.
time, because during Mufti and all their regime, they gave all the jobs to the this thing, and they are occupying all the jobs right from universities to police to everywhere. There are jobs they have infiltrated. So they have to be, for internal support, as the police has to be extra careful,
Okay. True.
because for money anybody
Yes,
would do,
it's
or
human
for
nature.
ideas
Human nature.
they don't even need money.
Overground workers, I think they call them now, right? Overground workers, and they're in many forms. It's very difficult to discern who is who.
Yeah, overground workers are usually in different types. One would give them safe houses, a hideout kind of a thing, with paraphernalia supplies like food and even sex and other
Logistical
things.
support, right? Logistical
Yeah,
support. Right.
yeah. So that they put there, and some people transport things, whether it is money and this thing for them. Some people do messaging if they feel that they are being monitored or something. So some people act as go-betweens on the ground and this thing, and it includes men, women, these things. So there are
So,
many kind of things.
how do
And
you
then some
see?
people are used
Uh,
as just the threat delivery, this thing. They
mhm.
are also messengers, but they will go and warn somebody that don't speak against militancy again, but
That
they themselves are not
we face
militant.
that.
So that they
We
are,
say
yeah, they are
covertly.
the,
I
yeah.
know
So there are
covertly.
many ways. And overground worker is somebody also who will try to uh, warn the militant that the army is coming here, so leave,
Mm.
or
True,
something
true.
like that. I mean, basically any kind of a support. I think whether it is ideological or material, according to me, you are a terrorist supporter, you are an overground worker, and I don't
Right.
have much sympathy for it.
How do you see the Intifada factory now, 2 years after the nullification of the Article 370? Do you see them dispersing, or do you see them coming back strongly?
I think the ones who are carriers are now said, they are the ones who are chipping away, because of course they have out of gratitude for what the terrorists and ISI and Pakistan did for them, and their carriers.
They're keeping
So
away?
I think we can expect them to be lifetime
Ah,
votaries of this terrorism and all, because now it doesn't make sense for them. They are discredited anyway. There is no way they can't even get into politics anymore. So what is the
and
point?
they're already
They will
settled
keep on
offshore,
hammering.
right? They're already settled abroad.
Exactly,
So this will
exactly. I
continue.
think their intensity has gone down. It is more like a task that, okay, we are planning this farmer agitation in
You have
India.
to earn
So you
your
have,
hawala, isn't it? You have to earn your hawala.
so you also chip in and write articles about how intolerant the Hindus are
Right.
and stuff
Right.
like that. So there are many ways they can help in. It's not now Kashmir only. Kashmir centric is not so much. It's basically now anti-India as it was supposed to be to begin with. In any direction, whether it is like shame on India on this,
Hmm.
Pakistan plus
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
thing. So those are the different forms I see that the carriers are still at it, but I think they don't have any hope like they had around what you can say Burhan Wani time, and
Yes. 2016,
they
2017.
where all those dreams have been crushed as we had warned them. That it is one thing to lie and it is another thing to believe in your lies. I mean, I haven't seen somebody support or pelt stone, from my extended people of acquaintance list and all that. So who are these people and all? They also know inside that they are frauds, and so they are doing it in a way they wanted. The thing is that whatever India factory did or not did, see, Pakistan would do it. The Jamatis would do it, Islamists would do it, carriers and opportunists will do it. But what is unforgivable is the Indian intelligence agencies and security
Yes.
forces and bureaucracy. They're giving them support and making it a existential dilemma to be whether it is to be a Shah Faisal or a Burhan Wani, only to deceive and Shah Faisal joins Burhan Wani. So
Isn't
referendum
it
complete. Everybody is with Azadi.
the
You
Dulal
know,
doctrine? And now I think it's the
yeah,
Dual
yeah.
doctrine as well. Yes. Yes, that's true. That's where we, sort of,
They are repeating the same. They are
they're
repeating
repeating the
the
same
same
thing.
thing.
True. True.
See,
Absolutely.
see, for example, Turkey is making inroads, and it is the new safe haven for
Hmm.
ISI and
Hmm.
all their
Hmm.
poodles. And they have the temerity of having full page ads in Greater Kashmir. Saying invest in targeting Kashmiris, saying invest in this thing, you will get this much of return, and buy land here, live there, and all that. So sooner or later it is going to blow in the face, and it is those kind of a people. Oh, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with Muslims getting exposure with somebody who is more liberal and more Western and more Gora than these
Yeah,
Indian Muslims or
the
whatever?
Turkish features.
And
Absolutely.
and the
Agree.
inroads to television and all, it is like the 80s Pakistan, the way inroads Pakistan made in 80s. This is
Right.
what Turkey is now doing there.
Yes.
I think they
Soft,
should consider,
soft imperialism, I believe, through their TV serials and all.
yeah,
Soft imperialism.
yeah, cultural imperialism. Yeah,
Well, it's been great talking to you, Solia, but we'll continue this dialogue, and I would love for you to come again. Uh, I wish there's
yeah, sure
peace. I
thing.
wish there's peace because we lost our youth, we lost our childhood, and now hopefully our children, they'll see a better future. So we've been doing our best.
I will do. I will do more than wish. I'm just keeping a hawk's eye and seeing things go wrong. But then I'm not jumping up and down my seat yet. As well, that starts then probably, there will be a lot of
Absolutely, absolutely.
tension.
No hurry at all. No hurry at all. We will prevail. We will
Give
eventually
people
prevail.
a chance because it's a hairpin bend.
Yes,
You're
yes.
going this direction and somebody says no, 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 turn back. So a lot of people are taking time to negotiate there because they are also victims
Yes,
of their past rhetoric.
true,
They'll be
true,
not accountable. What happened? What changed? You were
true, true.
talking this and now you have changed your
Yes,
color.
yes.
So I'm giving them some time, but I think after 2022, I will. If anybody is there and the government is tolerating them, I will not tolerate the government because finally, as
Ah,
I said, it is when the state does mistakes, that is what gives it a hands over a win to the enemy.
true,
Enemy
true.
will
The
always
state
be there.
patronizing terrorism, the state patronizing violence. Yeah, because then it leaves us pro-India people in a lurch. Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming online. Thank you, Solia.
Yeah. Thank you.
Till next
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.